I introduced the show.
I make it weird.
Well, I mean, you make it weird through comments and being inappropriate.
Body language. Inappropriate? I am nothing but
You're so inappropriate.
What?
We'll move on from
You want to pull up that thread? Do you really?
Hey guys,
You're agreeing with me. I thought you were on my team, Scott.
What? I'm on my own team.
Oh, there were teams?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Apparently not.
There were teams, apparently, guys.
There were 3 of them.
And surprise, surprise, you thought that everyone was with you, and you just thought...
Just like real life.
Unknown Creep just
Thank
for
you.
7 months. I see a lot of glitch in you, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's sad. Because it seems like nobody likes glitch.
No, that's not true. So, guys, welcome to Graphic Content. We're going to talk about comic books. We're going to do a Valiant Vanquish recap. We're going to talk about our picks of the week and comic book news and the general world of comic books and all that great stuff. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's going to be fun next hour and a half that I hope you enjoy. So let's get, right into it. Actually, you know what? First off, is there a single person in this chat room right now who's never seen this show before? Is there one person? I don't know why I asked that, because now I'm just going to be
This
sad.
show or Vanquish?
This show.
This show.
This show, because I wonder sometimes if we should introduce ourselves, but then I'm like, man, I feel like everyone here knows what's up.
Yeah.
Knows what is up.
Most of the chat are names that I read all the time.
Yeah.
But we can't take that for granted every week. We still gotta do it. And what if people do? We can't be taking
You know, that's true. You could be
It's still
watching on
live.
YouTube right now.
There you go. There you go.
You
never
could be
know.
watching this after it was cool to watch it,
think
when
of
it was
that.
live.
Yes. Those of you
So-
those of you who found this show 6 years in the future, were like, what is this graphic content thing? Welcome. This is graphic content. We're talking about comic books. It is 2016.
And why should you care about our opinions on comic books over anyone else's? You shouldn't. But you're going to have more fun listening to our opinions because they're right.
What?
Yes.
Also, because we're very polarizing.
Yeah, that's true. Our opinions is not our opinion. There is no our opinion. There are just our opinions.
I love how we're never like, you know what, this comic wasn't really for me.
Bullshit,
No.
that comic's the best. You're stupid.
No,
I'm
we're just
kidding.
we're like, this comic's garbage, and
Yeah.
I love that. I love that about this show.
But don't say
This
that about
comic's
this
not
one.
good.
No, but
Don't say that
I
about
just
this.
picked that up because it was on top.
Well, don't confuse people.
Sorry.
Because I didn't get a chance to read this, but it's one of my picks of the week.
I read the backup issue and it was drawn by Bill Sienkiewicz, which is why I read it, and that was awesome because I love when he does his thing where he draws comics.
So if you're new and you've never seen this before, I am Zach. I am the CEO of Hyper RPG, and my opinion is invalid.
I'm that bronze girl. I'm salty as fuck, and I play Glitch on Vanquish. And I'm also
Jackie Dash!
Hey,
That's Claudia!
Hey, thanks for the resub.
Yeah, and I'm also a Twitch streamer. That's me, and my opinion is valid because I yell it, and that makes it more valid.
Hi guys, I'm Scott. I am on this show as well as Vanquish with these clowns on Monday nights. I'm also on a podcast called BDSA's Geek Nation under the name Spicoli.
What do you guys do on that podcast?
Well, we talk about geeky stuff.
Ah!
Yeah, all kind. We talk about more than just comics. We talk about TV shows, video games.
Hey! Crime Critter! Hype, hype, hype! Thank you for that.
Cue the music.
Let's talk comics, hashtag hype, #Sador-Crub.
There we go. Thank you for that.
That's the classic tip music.
That is the
Yeah,
classic
I
tip.
got
Old school,
thrown
I
off.
like it.
I
There's
was like,
something about hearing I'm EDM as fuck, bro, that may be a little off-brand for us. It was a joke that ran its course. A joke
Yeah.
that ran its course.
Yeah, it's a little more
we don't want
appropriate
new
for us.
people coming in being like, yo, these guys are EDM as fuck. Because we kind of say that in the song and then we dance.
And we're not.
it might put the wrong message out for branding.
Yeah.
Maybe. Bits sometimes can go too far.
We need you know what we need? We need a little bit of the X-Men '92 theme song or the Batman Beyond theme song to play. We need specific clips for each show that's topical.
ooh. So more sad white guy music.
No, that's not what I meant. That wasn't sad white guy music. There's a beat there.
What? Okay, what's sad white guy music?
Well,
Coldplay?
No, I don't listen to Coldplay.
But I don't know if you listen to Coldplay, but it's definitely sad white guy music.
Okay,
I'll tell
what
you
they're
that.
referring to is this singer-songwriter stuff I listen to, Sun Kill Moon and the Mark Kozlik stuff, American Music Club, Idaho.
Are those bands
real
that
sad
you're
shit.
naming? Oh.
Real sad shit.
Said what kind of
sad shit. And like,
speaking
I'm white
of
and
music,
and I have nothing to complain about. So let's complain about how I have nothing to complain about. That kind of thing. Yep. I'm here. Hello, lurking. Says Snake Almost too. Okay. What?
I'm listening to something. I was trying not to interrupt you.
What?
Get back to your job.
What?
I like
What?
you, Emily.
If you're watching on YouTube, that was Emily opening the door in the middle of the show.
Call out.
It looks like Napalm Ice. Welcome. We have a lurker coming out.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
So should we get right into it first with the Vanquish recap?
I just want to throw one thing out there.
So much happened.
Claudia is apparently in the chat, which means Claudia's watching. Because there's 3 of us, our comic book song doesn't work anymore. We need a new one. So you have to come in sometime on Wednesday and record us a new comic book
Alex
song.
is going to come and visit in September. When he does, Claudia, we need you to come in and we'll record a new comic book page song. That'll work.
Yeah,
So-
and you have to include me this time because
Yeah.
you're
What?
gonna stay now.
Couldn't
so.
predict the future, yo?
Yeah.
Come on.
You have to
Couldn't consult
you have to
Ulysses.
learn at least 2 of the 3 names on this couch.
Yep.
You can choose which 2.
Okay, let's get into it. So, Valiant Vanquished on Monday was, like you said, a lot went down.
A lot happened.
It was
a lot happened.
I think it was our longest episode.
It was.
It was very
And you know
long.
what's funny? It was the absolute least that I had kind of prepared for. As far as like different variables and stuff like that. I had all the characters written down and I had their backstories and I was kind of like, let's see where this goes. And I loved the arguments that were happening between you and Lydia. Like,
Yes,
that
fun.
was really fun for me to watch because as characters, you're defining yourselves and your values and standing by them. And that was really cool because the rest of the group is kind of like on the sidelines in that situation and you two with the strongest opinions.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot and I'm glad that got fleshed out. I really enjoyed having to be
I
a
mean,
part of
and
that.
as much as people want to say Glitch is a little cutthroat, she brings up a valid point, which is like, if you let somebody go and that person goes on to kill 20 people, that's kind of your fault. That's Glitch's logic.
Yeah.
Is that if you sit back and you keep giving somebody second chances and they go on to create all this havoc and kill people.
But that being said, your point on all of that, I'm guessing is going to come back up next week when we find out that these kids think they're in a video game and you killed him anyway.
Yeah, that was a
Okay,
big
I
revelation.
had a really good reason for that. So, so
There was a ramp up with that kid.
I need to like flush this out because this has been coming up all week, okay? So I'm gonna let you guys know this is one-on-one time with Glitch. So for the next
One-on-one and 2
for the
other
next like
people in the
4
room.
here.
minutes, just I am speaking as Glitch. Okay, so at the end of the episode, I did have a sort of informant that I was interrogating in maybe a slightly brutal fashion.
Torturing.
And after I got
Your foot was on his throat. Just to be clear, you had the upper hand 100%. Your foot was on his throat. Just the.
Anyways, basically, I didn't feel like I was getting useful information out of him, but I got enough information, or I got a thread that I could pull at, and thinking that was good enough, I killed the kid. Here's why. If they are convinced, if these kids are convinced they're in a video game, and I can't convince them otherwise, which seemed it's really hard to talk to trolls, by the way. I was like, if I let this kid go, he's just gonna keep killing people. That is Glitch's point of view. Like, he is convinced he's in a video game, and if I let him go, he is going to continue having zero remorse and zero, like, any kind of feeling of regret over taking life because he's basically damaged. He's kind of mentally in a state that he is in a video game. So eliminating him was my best option. The other thing people were tweeting me after the show is, why didn't you tie him up and take him with you to the camp? Because Glitch knows 100% that the second she gets this kid in front of my spineless compatriots, they're not gonna let me deal with the problem. And so she nipped it in the butt.
You dealt with the problem now. As the GM, it's easy for me to be able to say this because I had 2 pages of backstory on that
But
kid.
Glitch didn't know that.
You didn't try very hard to convince him it wasn't a video game. In fact, you agreed with him and doubled down on it And we're like, yeah, so we're gonna win all this stuff. So tell me what we need to know. This is a test. You told him it was a test from within the video game, rather than try to convince him this is a place called the Faraway. How did you get here? What did you do? Who is this old man? Your questions were very, where are the rest of them, and not how.
Well, yeah, but that's Glitch though. Glitch is very much the where are the other drugs going? Yeah. She's that.
she's very Machiavellian. Like the ends justify the means. Like you say, like even if it's a kid, if this kid's gonna kill more people than the kid deserves to die. But there's also been said about like there was the big wrap up. There were T-Rexes and metal men and all kinds of other stuff, and that the whole time we were set on a mission to be like, we got to stop these terrorists. They seemed like a group. And so you get in the headspace of like, we gotta find the rest of them. It's easy to forget, like, wait, we just learned that they're kids. But, you know, in the beginning of the episode, we had that, or we didn't have the conversation, but you guys had the conversation, are they kids, are they not, how long have they been there? And then we learned
you have to remember,
actual
like,
kids.
When I roleplay, I, like, get into it, right? Like, I get into it. And so from Glitch's headspace, especially, like, because a lot of people are like, I can't believe you actually drove. Like, people were tweeting me, like, I can't believe you, I knew Glitch was savage, but I can't believe you actually did that. Bronze. And I was like, remember, these fuckers unleashed a T-Rex on us.
Oh, no.
And basically got Erida killed.
Yeah.
So Glitch's, like, adrenaline is pumping. Yeah. She's pretty fucking upset. She's pretty sure Erida's gonna die. Because how can, like, they're impaled in a freaking place that has what? Like, from her point of view, medicine man. But I mean, like, what kind of medical help are they really
there seems to be very little actual technology here. It's like, all broken.
We don't even have water. Weird. How the hell are they going to stitch Erida back together? And we still don't know how that's going to pan out. So, I mean, can you really blame the girl? Well, you do.
Yeah.
We know.
There's a lot to be said about at the end of that episode when Erida got stabbed. Everything changed for everyone. Impaled all the way through.
She didn't get stabbed. She has a freaking rebar wire going through her.
There's something that I think is important for the group to come out of this with is that there's people in the group who aren't trained, who aren't strong, who don't have healing factors or whatever. You have a librarian. Hey, Eternal Night! Eternal Night, yeah!
My co-star.
Glitch and I are in the next Buddy Cope movie. A very disturbed and violent Buddy Cope movie, but a really funny one.
Yep, Buddy Cope. A Buddy Cope movie.
I would love to be in a Buddy Cop movie with Eternal Night.
So, I think it's important to remember that you have basically a librarian in the Faraway, who happens to be able to do a couple things with water and sometimes think that she can be an airbender. So there's...
That was funny.
She gets real ambitious with her power.
So it's a dangerous world, and you guys aren't thinking as a team, which is going to have repercussions. And as the GM, we're getting to a point where here soon, I won't be able to say anymore, like, are you really sure you want to lay off that EMP right now? Because you got Eternal Knight who's about to back your shit up. You got that dude there with an arm that'll go limp. And you're right out of here on a mechanical horse that's electronic when all be down.
But the bright side of that is, it so symbolizes how our characters are too. Because our characters don't work well together.
No.
Yeah.
None of us do. Nobody does. I've never seen, like, you guys, like, really, like, combine your powers and do something awesome.
But that's what we're hoping 6 months from now happens.
Yeah, it happens between me and Eternal Night of all people.
Yeah,
like, we
teach us.
melded together. And I mean, we had a moment where I rebooted your arm.
Yeah, that was
but
nice.
That also took your character asking for help.
Yeah, and that's something like with Nebraska, every time danger presents itself to the group, his solution is to jump in front of it and try to solve the problem for everyone else.
You and Eves both.
Yeah, we try, we're like, we got this, and we don't, but we think we do. Which, yeah, we need to learn that. And the learning curve on Nebraska apparently is pretty steep. He is not picking things up super fast. But he's picking some things up.
But a lot of stuff did happen. There was some great philosophical debates. We're learning more about Sarah's viewpoint in the world and how dangerous it is to have Glitch and Sarah in the same place.
And we definitely learned, we do know that the Trollisha are a bunch of kids from potentially the future who think they're alpha testing a video game, basically. They're told to go into this world.
I still hate them. I don't care. I still hate them because I just imagine playing any video game with these fuckers in it, and I'm like, God, you guys ruin everything.
Yeah.
Chaos, like
Yeah.
Screw those kids.
I tell you what, though, I'd play that faraway game. I'd play the shit out of that game.
Would you unleash T-Rex?
Oh, I would unleash chaos. There'd be dinosaurs that are zombies.
There's
I would make that
there's
fucking
another
cat.
thing.
What the fuck was that cat thing?
Okay, well,
What the fuck was that?
That's a question that your characters definitely need to have because you've seen now two creatures that don't resemble anything else in the faraway.
They are, but are not zombies.
Had very it was made very clear that there are these like centipede type things in there, and they called them proteans. That might be a bigger threat than the Trollisha.
I mean, at this point, that's been the only time the Trollisha have really stopped us was when they brought the Proteans in. Those were the two biggest things we dealt with, was that damn cat and the T-Rex.
We also, Inmaker says, I'll just leave this here, F you, Zach. Hey man, if you want to troll, you want to troll me on a live show, you're stepping up to the big leagues, dog. You're stepping up to the big leagues. You got to be able to hang with the big dogs if you want to start a troll war. And I knew if I put you in front of Glitch, that troll war was going to go in my favor.
I'm a lot meaner than the other characters are.
I definitely thought my favorite part of the episode was just you and the trolls shouting at each other.
We have to remember,
just the shit talking was so fun.
If you guys didn't figure it out from that episode, Glitch is a nerd. Like, she's a total gamer, and so she understands this like sort of culture more than probably any of the other characters do.
Yeah, I started to understand
you
Glitch
guys
a
can
little better.
well, I think my favorite part in the episode, believe it or not, was Nebraska's reaction to Dick Butt. Because everyone else was like, "Oh, it's Dick Butt," and Nebraska's just like, "Ha, this is the most amusing thing ever."
Imagine, think about the first time you saw Dick Butt, and imagine it was the first meme you ever saw. That's what happened to Nebraska. It like changed his life a little bit.
Gonna get a tattoo of it.
Probably. Oh my god. Oh man. Oh, now you're giving me ideas about how I'm gonna bring Dick Butt back.
Yeah, and we learned from that conversation with the teenager, though, that there is an old man that told them what their objective was, who he thinks is an NPC.
And somebody said, "Oh my Harada." That was what one of the trolls.
Yes, I did catch that.
exclaimed.
Yeah. But I was thinking it was almost like they're from the future, right? This is my interpretation of it. And you know how like people are like, oh my god, maybe like in the future Harada's like Jesus.
That's what I'm thinking. Is some shit like that, which
Maybe he's God.
which
in the
is
future.
frightening.
It's not a world I'd want to live in. So
It might be though. You never know. Because Harada, he's so like. He's the most Machiavellian of any character ever, as far as ends justifying the means. He will do horrible things, but he wants to create utopia, you know, and potentially actually has the power to. So, I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
I'm really excited to get the new website up that we're working on and get the forums on there so we can start having the fans give us what they think their theories are. Because I'm excited to see their theories since I know, because I kind of have like a 1 year long storyline built out in my head of like where I want the story to go if you don't drop it all into the abyss again, which will happen, I'm sure. I've like kind of stepped back a little bit and like, okay, overall, these are things that can happen within that universe, but not the path you'll go down. And excited to see if there's theories. We revealed some stuff a lot faster than I thought we would. Like Livia's dad.
We know about Armstrong.
Petunia being a really powerful psyop that tricked you all into coming together.
Yeah. And could apparently, like, send things out of their own skin with a bark.
Yeah.
Oh, that was creepy.
That was badass.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna get on her bad side. She'll just bark and take my skin off.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have a problem with Nebraska's arm trying to eat Petunia ever again. Because that was terrifying.
Yeah, Petunia might have to be a problem that's dealt with one day. You know?
Oh man, we are not even kind of prepared
Yeah.
to handle that.
Yeah, there's a lot of seeds being planted that I'm excited to see when they get to come back. I mean, we haven't heard from Merrick in a long time.
Ah, good old DTD Merrick.
And in the real world time, he's had some time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Plus, like
you guys had when you were in the dead side.
That was a
time
couple
passed.
weeks. Plus, we're in the faraway, and we'll see when, we don't. The way the faraway works, where we return to the present will kind of depend on how we get out of there, more on how long we've been in there. So
I mean,
who knows
the way
what's
time
going to happen
stops,
there?
we don't even know how long we've been in there so far.
Yeah,
It's not
we
like
don't.
we feel hunger or like there's
tired
no
or
day or
anything.
night, so who knows how long.
Which is
we've
part
been
of the
there.
reason they believe they're in a video game. They don't have to eat. There's no night. It's just.
That would be a pretty cool video game, you're right.
Yeah, so you'd be great.
I mean, Ark is close.
Ark is close.
Ark's close to the faraway, except for all of the
And then I have the
tribes and future tech and
aliens. And
aliens.
not
and-
enough probing.
And there's not enough like eternal night.
Yeah. Hey, we almost got our first probe on Monday,
What?
courtesy of Geist of all
Guys
people.
trying to probe.
Oh.
Geist just tried to shove his finger
my
up
God.
Nebraska's ass.
I forgot that part.
That
I
happens.
forgot the Vlad the Impaler moment.
Yeah.
I blacked that entire part out because my character saw your taint.
Yeah,
So
that
she
happens.
just blacked it out. She was like, nope.
When are you gonna find underwear in this world?
Well, there's not a lot of underwear in the
That's a
faraway.
really good
Even if you
question.
found it, would Nebraska wear it?
I
Does
honestly,
he wear
I think,
underwear? These are questions that we need to have forums
I
for.
think
Does
he would have
Nebraska
to be
wear
told by
underwear?
somebody that he should be wearing underwear.
Yeah, why would he think to? I mean,
Like, I kind of assume he's just been wearing like pants, not like underwear wouldn't be a thing
That's what I'm
he would
thinking.
have bought or stolen or however he got his pants.
So he needs to be told. These are boxer briefs. Please wear them.
Oh man, there's no way Nebraska would be able to handle boxer briefs.
Oh, guys, the biggest moment I thought of the episode was "My Dear Nebraska."
Oh yes, my dear.
That is
Nebraska.
never gonna get let down. Oh my god.
And
man.
remember, she's gazing dreamily at him while being
Yeah.
carried by him.
Yeah, she's fantasizing about
Jeff.
her ex-lover while being carried by a shirtless Nebraska.
Who heard recently my dear Nebraska?
Yeah.
Poor Tara.
Yeah.
Oh man, she honestly is just slipping up and then going, "Damn it!" writing it in stone.
It's so good. Oh man, and it's been kind of a slow burn with the Nebrerida thing or whatever we're calling it.
That's hard to say.
yeah, well, there's-
Nebrerida.
See, the problem with Olarida is we don't really use the name Alara anymore.
Oh.
He's just so Nebraska.
See, Glitch goes out of her way to call Nebraska Alara.
That's true, and I like that because Alara's his name.
But she's the only one who
Um,
does it, and it's completely intentional.
So Alarida
You're also having to be part of the
remains.
group.
Yeah, so she just calls him Alara.
Yeah.
Almost every time. I think I've only slipped up like
Nebrera.
once or twice, but Glitch almost exclusively calls him Alara.
Jeff versus Alara.
Oh,
Let's see it.
uh,
I don't think Jeff would win.
Yeah, I would imagine Jeff's not around anymore.
imagine all you like. I'm in control here.
I was gonna say what?
I just feel like knowing what we know about
No, is
Erida's
there gonna be an awkward love triangle?
maybe. I feel like knowing what we know about Erida's life though and Erida's past, which isn't much, I just don't imagine anybody she's been that happy with still being alive, or at the very least still being in a condition to still be the same dude. Because
Grandpa sure did like Jeff.
yeah, like he liked Jeff, but what happened to Jeff? You know, if he was so great.
What
That's why I
happened?
feel like he
What
can't still be
happened?
the
I
same
feel
Jeff.
like
What
you're
happened
just,
to
I feel like
Erida,
you're just
though?
trying to hold out hope
That's
for
what I'm saying.
Nebraska.
No,
I feel like you're just like, no,
That's
Jeff
what it is.
clearly wasn't
Fuck
that
this Jeff
awesome.
guy.
Clearly
Smell like
Nebraska's
Jeff.
better. Come on.
Small Fry saying Jeff was a PRS plant from her dad.
There you go.
Ooh.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's why I want these forums up. It's too much fun.
Knowing how sad Erida is, I just feel like the Jeff story can't have a happy ending.
I want the
That's
fanfic.
all.
Wait, no, I take that back.
Yeah, take that back. You know, you and Eternal Night would
Nope.
be the first thing to show
Yeah.
up in a fanfic.
Yeah.
No, do it.
On a dinosaur.
I also like that Eternal Night isn't the thing that resembles the most like a hero that you guys have seen yet, despite him being a pompous asshole.
Yeah. He's murdered more kids than we have.
But at the same time, the way he like rode in there all heroically and like forced you guys to take his horse and save your friend, is not like a leadership that anyone else in the group.
No, he's
Yeah, that's not
a
a hero.
hero. He's totally a hero. Yeah. Yeah. Glitch believes that, and Bronze believes that. Like, it was. I know you guys were all like kind of weirded out that I trusted him, but like Glitch trusts him.
Yeah, I mean,
because to her,
he made a huge
out of
sacrifice right
everybody,
there.
he's the only competent one. Like,
Oh,
no
yeah.
offense.
No,
but,
absolutely.
like, to her, like, Glitch in him sees, oh, here is another competent person, and he told me I should stay behind with him, so I'm going
And
to
be
do it.
heterosexual friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. He doesn't know what heterosexual means, but I mean, it's. I tried to teach him platonic, but I don't. He
wrote it down.
He wrote, yeah.
That was a nice
See
moment.
if
That
it
reminded me of
sticks.
Nebraska a little bit. Just like, oh, learning new words in this land, and just like, oh, this is what interface means. I'm gonna continue to misinterpret this.
I hope there's
For
more
weeks and
team ups with you too.
Yeah,
in the
yeah. I
next couple
like the
episodes.
swinging around. The wait, no, you stop. Wait, no, now you stop and let me. That was.
Oh, that was amazing.
That
I
was a
freaking
good
live for
moment.
that because we're
That's-
both so freaking stubborn.
Yeah, that's how anything I think with the Turtle Knight and Nebraska teaming up is gonna look like. Is both of them trying to be the one in charge, and thus just getting nothing done for a while.
All right, so
Really fun episode. It
was
like
fun.
among the hardest I've laughed all year. It was
it's so much fun. I
funny.
hope you guys are enjoying the show. Tell your friends. We have fun doing it. It's a real joy to be able to present you with a story made up on the fly every Monday night. I hope you guys are really starting to like these characters. So it's more fun when I kill them, and it hurts you, not me.
Shall we get to some news?
What? Yeah.
Let's stay in this vein. Actually, speaking of valiant shows on the internet,
Oh yeah.
the rumor mill is churning today. We got all kinds of TV rumors, but this one is pretty significant. Michael Rowe, who if QQ wants to bring up the image on the screen, that's on the wrong one. There we go. Michael Rowe, whom you might have known as Deadshot on Arrow, and apparently he's in a few other things that none of us have seen, tweeted an image suggesting that he might be playing Ninjak on an upcoming Ninjak TV show or web series or something, and the CEO of Valiant Comics, Dinesh Shamdasani, retweeted it with the hashtag for New York City Comic Con. So, well, that's definitely not confirming anything. When the CEO of Valiant Comics is like, hey, look at this, he's probably not he's at the very least not denying it and spreading it around, so...
Let's just say I may or may not 2 months ago have gotten a picture of Bloodshot in full costume from Valiant.
I was
saying,
just gonna tease it,
"Do
but you're
not
just going
share-
for it.
Do not share this with anyone. And I made the mistake of showing it to Emily, who then said on the internet something about it, and we hoped everyone forgot, which they did, and no one released what Emily said. So thank you, internet, for actually letting that die and not making it look like we're the ones that leaked this information. So thanks for that.
So yeah, Ninjak show, which is exciting, and now we can say that Bloodshot's gonna be in it too, which probably means they're not just gonna stop there. They're probably gonna keep going. We're gonna see a Valiant Universe show, not just Ninjak versus random, just being a spy for MI6, whatever. It's gonna be Valiant the show. I mean, Ninjak is a fixture. He's part of Unity. He works with the Eternal Warrior all the time. He was introduced in Exo Manowar. He's all over the place.
Yeah.
And we've seen like some of the casting news for this is like one of the guys is a WWE guy, who I think I would just love to see one of those dudes play Exo Manowar. That'd be fucking amazing, right? Just giant wrestler dude in a blue robot suit. Be
I would
beautiful.
live for that. Exo Manowar was my first Valiant comic.
I just can't imagine. I'm anxious to see how it plays out, because when I first heard of the show, I honestly thought it was a small kind of spy thing that Bloodshot had a guest appearance in, and then when you see this article and then it lines up with some of the other stuff I've been hearing, I'm like, oh shit, they're really gonna go for it? Like they're gonna go for Faith and XO and Archer and Armstrong? Like that's a lot. Like that's a fucking lot to go for.
Batman Sam, it's John Morrison is apparently the wrestler that is cast to be somebody in the show. As well as apparently Jason David Frank from Power Rangers might be somebody.
I love him.
I'm not familiar with him. Would he be? Do you think he might be like that? Might be our Bloodshot or something?
I know who he is, but I can't say
Oh.
on the air.
All right. We gotta shut the show off so that Zach can tell us everything about Vanquished or about Valiant upcoming soon. Okay, I'm just kidding.
I'm excited about this. I'm anxious to see how it plays out. It does seem like it's huge scope for a web series, like right around like that Mortal Kombat web series. That,
Exo War.
oh God,
Yeah.
if John Cena
I think he could actually play Eric.
I think
I
you could too.
totally do it.
think he 100% could play Eric of Dacia. He's got the bravado and the confidence, like, for sure.
Ecstasy no more, please.
Can we
I
start
can't even
can we
do
start
it.
can we start fan art of that? Can we get that fan art trending?
Fan art of John Cena as Exo Manowar. Yeah,
amazing.
or just King Eric doing that would be fine.
Yes, and it is Bat in the Sun production that's doing it. The guys that do Superhero Beatdown. So they do have experience doing these kind of on a budget and making them look good. So
Who's gonna play Faith? Me.
I actually have no idea on that one.
It's gonna
I feel
be
like I'd
me.
be surprised.
They
Like,
decided they're gonna brown wash the role, and so I will be playing Faith.
That brown washing such a common occurrence
yeah,
in media.
these days.
It's got its own phrase now.
I'm making
They
it
totally
where-
brown washed this film, man.
Mm-hmm.
We can only hope one day.
They bronze washed it.
They bronze washed it.
Yeah, I would
like
actually
a
be
bad
surprised.
tan.
I feel like
Sounds like a really bad tan. Like, come for our bronze wash special.
I feel like with as far as Faith goes, I see them, throwing in Bloodshot, Exo Manowar. You could do good like one single episodes where they meet this person and they have to deal with something with them. Faith and the Renegades and the Harbinger organization and all that stuff, that's a lot of stuff to tap into without being the main character.
What do you bet, just knowing how this kind of stuff works, what do you bet that this is tied loosely into the comics and there's one flashback scene while he's talking about what it's like to be Ninjak, and what it's like to live in this world, and how you can't, and like some people can't handle it. And as he's saying that, you see a shot of Faith leaving Unity because she couldn't take it, and you just see her in costume walking away with the others standing behind her, and that's it. And that's it. Like,
that's all you get.
There was your fate. Like, I could see that happening though, which is
interesting.
It's good for world building. I like those kinds of things for world building. But like if you tell people face in and that's all you get, then people would be like, what?
Yeah, I would just be surprised.
I could imagine it being that.
I just wouldn't put the Harbingers in this show, or the Renegades in this show, because it already seems like it's going to be
Well, it feels like
little
she'd
bigger
have to
than they
be.
can handle.
Yeah, she'd have to be in there because of her stint with Unity.
Well, depending on when they go, like if they just do Ninjak, they don't have to do the Unity. And her stint with Unity was basically just one issue. Like, she is not part of the Ninjak or Unity storyline. Unity was just one very small part of Faith's storyline.
Yeah.
So they don't need to do any of this stuff. I feel like it'll probably be like we'll probably have Ninjak, maybe PRS and MI6, and maybe even Gate or whatever the Exo Manowar organization is, and we'll do kind of that like political military stuff without doing the whole giant Imperium thing. So I feel like that'd be too big for a show.
I agree. But that's an exciting piece of news. We're stoked for it. Anxious to see. We'll find out more in New York City Comic Con, and you guys will know before anyone else because Hyper RPG will be there. Most likely streaming it live.
Yeah.
Announcement. Most likely. We're still working on the internet situation there, so.
But yeah, be excited for New York City Comic Con. Doobie rules, I do not use any beard oil or beard balm in my beard. I like to keep it natural.
And Minker just put Bloodshot USA on his pool list. You probably want to start with Bloodshot Reborn. Go grab a couple trades. If you just started Bloodshot, So I was a little worried about Bloodshot USA when I first heard about it, but I'm caught up completely now on Bloodshot Reborn, and the last couple issues do set it up pretty well. Sure enough, good old PRS is always involved somehow in fucking everything up in the universe.
I mean, if Bloodshot had a nemesis, it would be PRS in general. So,
and it actually ties together really well with like the end of Book of Death.
Ooh, cool.
And how Kay was able to release the nanites from Bloodshot's body, making him human again.
You mean the Valiant?
Yes. Yeah. The Valiant. And, they do a great job, and they already released the preview images for this so I can talk about it, but they do a great job of setting up how PRS basically says, like, when that happened, they knew it was possible to make the Bloodshot virus airborne. Because it did go airborne when Kay released it, and it infected other random people. Yeah. And that taught them that it was possible. So they've been spending all this time
basically trying to recreate.
That also showed that him going out and like finding all the other Bloodshot, him thinking he's on his own and that he's like doing all this stuff, they've actually been tailing him the entire time and have been with him every single step of the way and have been in control of the entire situation. And that he's still kind of unknowingly under their fucking thumb.
Oh my god.
He just can't win, man.
Bloodshot Report is so good.
It's really good.
Book is so good.
Jeff Lemire's doing a great job on that book. So I'm gonna quickly talk about my pick of the week, and then I've got to get out of here and get back to work because it's PAX week, and holy shit,
right,
it's
yeah.
PAX
week
week.
is packed.
Yeah.
Yes,
By the way, we'll say now, if you see any of us at PAX, please come by and come up to us and say hi. We like stuff like that. We're all gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there. Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we're all gonna be there.
I'll be around.
Cool.
I'll be around. I'm gonna be doing a couple panels.
I'm just gonna be wandering the convention.
I'm doing press for my podcast, so I'll be doing some work, but also I'll just be wandering around too. So come by and say hi.
Yo, yeah, Exo Manowar is ending too, and I read the second to last issue today.
Oh yeah, the second is came out today.
49.
Yeah, 49 today.
I'm gonna wait to
gotta
talk
catch
about it
up,
all
man.
until the next. I'm gonna wait to talk about it until 50. I'm gonna wait to
This is
talk
good.
about
That
the
means
last line.
I have a
until 50.
month to catch up on Exo Manowar.
All right, my pick of the week is
Tokyo
Tokyo
Ghost number 10. This is the end of the miniseries, right?
Yeah.
Which it wasn't initially supposed to be. It was
Right.
going to be an ongoing, and then like a month and a half ago, they were like, "Hey, Rick Remender's trying to write 14 books at once, and Sean Murphy's trying to draw twice as many, so we have to stop."
So that's basically. It had promise, is what I want to say. Like, it's a great 10-issue run. But just like The Wake from Sean Murphy, it leaves me wanting so much more. And that it feels unsatisfying with how neatly it gets wrapped up, with its predictability, given that the universe they created is so unique and so different, that I still liked it a lot because I have a great love of this book and the art and the writing and the way it all comes together. It's not gonna surprise. It's a story we've heard before, you know, and like it's a story told really well, but it's definitely a story you've heard so many times that you're just kind of like, the last half of the book, you're going through those steps and you're like, yeah, the debate of individuality versus being, like sacrificing yourself to technology and, feeling as if you live in a better world because you don't look at the world around you and you just stay connected to like your social networks and your everything else and you create this false universe for yourself. Like, even though this is still a fairly new concept in reality, thank you, Mr. Washington.
Oh, thank you.
The media that has explored the repercussions of it is getting very tired in a way. Like we've heard how many stories about this at this point. Mm-hmm. So I was only a little bummed that it became a little predictable at the end, but the art is still just so fucking pretty, so gorgeous. So it's still my pick of the week. You should definitely check it out as a series of 10. It's one of my favorite of the year. I think it's just one of the absolute most artistically, masterfully done 10-issue runs I've seen of any comic book in years. It's just really beautiful, really well done, and even just the love story and sacrifice, like the whole conversation of sacrifices is a good one. So check it out. I'm guessing the trade will be out in like a month or two, knowing how Image works with this stuff. But then my runner-up, just so I can talk about it before I get out of the room, is chapter 37 of Saga, which was really good.
Was it?
Yeah,
I'm behind on Saga.
I'm glad it's back. I miss it every time it's gone. And like an old friend, you're just like, oh, Saga, you're like, oh, BKV, you know how to talk to me, like it just flows so well. That's the only problem with reading this book in single issues is his writing does flow so well that you're like, it's done, and you're like, shit, I want more. I really want more. But it sets up a new storyline, which is great. Picking up right a little bit after it left off, and closer to where the last volume left off for sure. And there's some interesting stuff brewing there. It is more of the same, but that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Saga is always one of those things that I never look forward to, but then when I read it, I'm like, I love this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
comics you get, like, hyped for.
Right.
And you're like,
I've lost my hype for Saga. It's been
I can't wait
years
for the
now.
next Black Monday murders. Like, I cannot wait, right? Because I want to know more. But, like, Saga's never one of those, and Kill or Be Killed. I'm a big fan of Kill or Be Killed. But I'm never, like, looking forward to Saga. But then when I read it, like, I'm behind right now, full disclosure. But then when I do read it, I'm like, why did I fall behind on this? Like, I actually really like this book.
Yep, that's kind of how I feel too. I just don't get hyped. But when I read it, it's an old
I think
friend. It's great.
It's like a classic like space opera, and it's not. Whereas like Image, like, there's a lot of Image books out right now.
You know,
that are
in-
just like doing different things.
In some ways,
you know?
it's
Doing
similar to
weird
Game of
things.
Thrones in a weird way to me, in that you're so aware that he's gonna do something crazy, and you're just kind of waiting for it, that its punch gets kind of lost. You know, like, he's done it so many times within these 37 chapters that as I'm reading it, I'm not surprised anymore. I'm just like, oh, you know, like, typical Brian K. Vaughan, like, that's just, you know, it's par for the course, but that doesn't mean it's not made well. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, it's really well done.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So,
Which is also similarly my feelings on Faith. Like I never get excited for Faith, and I'll eventually get around to reading it, like on Thursday. Like there's like comics like I read them Wednesday, and then I like Faith, but Faith is like my Thursday comic because it's so, like we were saying, it's so meta. I'm like, oh yeah, Faith. It's like a comfort blanket or whatever. It's like, oh okay, yeah, we'll read Faith now. But then there's like I can't wait for the next issue of Lady Killer,
right.
and I can't wait. Like there's certain comics that I'm like.
I'm
This
like
is
that
a
with
Wednesday comic,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Like Eternal Wrath of the Eternal Warrior for me is just like,
That's your Wednesday comic?
it's just like blows my mind every week. I'm super hyped for it. Yeah, it's fresh.
Yeah,
it's
that's
fresh.
That's me more than anything. That's how I am with Chew. Like
Oh, yeah,
like
Chew's
Wednesday morning, it's a Chew day. I'm like, oh my god, Chew's coming out. I gotta read Chew. Oh my god, start freaking out. As well as like, right now, Detective Comics actually is
Detective
that book for
Comics
me.
is
Like, oh
amazing.
fuck this book.
I will agree
So
with you on
good.
that one. DC is killing it with that one.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hand it over to you. I'm gonna get back to
Get some work done.
I don't wanna. Believe me, I'd rather sit and talk comic books, but you know, whatever.
It's all right.
Boss man. All right, have fun.
It's gonna be a good weekend.
Oh, should I move? QQ, was I supposed to move?
You can move. You can send it.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
fix it.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
All right, so we're gonna jump back to the news. We will get back to reviewing more comics. We got to get back to the aforementioned rumor mill.
Gossip.
That news coming out today. TV Line dropped this news initially that apparently Marvel and ABC are working on a New Warriors comedy series. The big headline, though, is not just that it'll be New Warriors, but that Squirrel Girl will be in the show. So far, nobody who is by any means official has commented on this, so it's still very much in the rumor mill. But I don't know, I've heard like this is like the third comedy show I've heard of Marvel making. Like I thought they were working on Damage Control, but that was gonna wait and see how Powerless worked out. I'm super skeptical about this
Really?
news, just because like there's got to be a point at which
Oh.
Disney stops making.
Oh, you're skeptical
shows.
that it's gonna happen.
Oh, that it's gonna happen. Yeah,
I thought
if
you were
this were to
skeptical
happen-
about it being good. I was like, I'm excited. I think
If this were to happen, I think it'd be neat. I actually am worried about Squirrel Girl. I think she's really one note, and then on television, it wouldn't play as well as it would in
I think
comics.
her as part of a team is fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, if it
don't
really
think she
were
could
a
carry her
team
own
book and she
show.
were on it, what I worry about is though the hype of Squirrel Girl making her it be like the Squirrel Girl show and losing the New Warriors thing.
Yeah.
Man, it's just do a big fuck you to everybody. Do the
I'm,
whole
like,
speedball pendant story.
Guilty of not being a big Squirrel Girl fan.
Yeah, see, me too. Like I
Like
don't.
even her comic, I'm just kind of like, it's exciting at first, but then like a few issues in, you're kind of like,
Yeah.
Squirrel Girl. You
Yeah,
know?
she's kind of one. Like I think she's fun and fine, and I like when she shows up in a big team book every once in a while. Like there was an issue of All New Wolverine recently, which has been pretty badass with Laura, a bunch of clones, and they're all killing each other and things because they're Wolverines. And then the Squirrel Girl showed up, and they had to deal with the squirrel problem for a while. And it was this like really random, like it was a cute little story, but like in Wolverine, it was all of a sudden like really silly.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Which,
Yeah.
if we're going to take the New Warriors and make it a comedy show, which any superhero team is not inherently comedic, because superheroes and action, Squirrel Girl's a good way to keep that, right? Keep it silly. Like if the plots are action plots and they have to deal with you know bad guys and supervillains and giant fight scenes at the end, Squirrel Girl will help maintain the levity.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I would like her. I'd like her as part of a team.
Yeah, so no news as far as casting yet because we don't even, know if the show's really going to happen. The internet already freaking out about the idea of Anna Kendrick being Squirrel Girl, though, which I think
I think that'd be a good choice.
It seems like a good choice to me, except for if you make Anna Kendrick Squirrel Girl, then you have to make all of them adults because Squirrel Girl should be the youngest on the team, and also you have I think she's way too hot to be Squirrel Girl. I shouldn't want to bang Squirrel Girl. I don't want to be thinking that when I'm watching Squirrel Girl.
Though.
She's but it's always small and young, and like I see her as a young girl. I don't see her as a sexual character.
You know what it is?
And I'm not saying that Anna Kendrick inherently has to be
me?
sexualized, but our culture will do it.
I've seen some pretty hot cosplayers cosplay Squirrel Girl, and I think that's what broke me of it.
See, maybe I'm not staring enough Squirrel Girl cosplayers.
Well, it's probably so. Basically, at Emerald City Comic Con, Scott is normal and I'm a creeper.
No,
So that's why you need to creep on women more.
I always go to Comic Con with my girlfriend. That's all.
What
That's
is
for you.
this?
That's for you.
What is
Thank
that?
you. It's this.
Pop.
It's Kirby Crackle. I got my own Kirby Crackle. Thank you. Pop. Yeah, no. First of all, I always go to the con with my girlfriend. Which doesn't mean that we still point out people all the time.
Yeah,
I actually, honestly, I don't see a lot of Squirrel Girl cosplays.
I do.
Really?
I've seen
Maybe I'm not-
I think
maybe I'm
last
not
year
looking
I saw
enough.
3.
I still don't know why I have this
All of them I was
Kirby
like-
Crackle.
Almost like,
I'm the kind of person I'm always looking for Robins. That's like my thing. Is I love when anybody's dressed up as Robin. Like anybody who's wearing the Robin costume and committing to the shorts. Like you're my MVP at a con. I love that. I love when people commit to a ridiculous Robin
I know
costume.
a few girls who have cosplayed with the
Oh yeah,
I love
you
it.
see a lot of those. I always try to be somebody like obscure to see like the 3 people who are gonna recognize me. Last year at Emerald City, I was Ambush Bug, who is the fourth wall breaking character in the DC universe that is infinitely less popular than Deadpool. 2 people recognized me.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually pretty excited. They were like, "Oh my God, somebody's Ambush Bug," and I was like, "Oh my God, somebody recognizes Ambush Bug." It was a good moment. And Minker's right, I
freaked out
do
when I
look for
saw
Dick
Booster
Grayson
Gold.
cosplayers. Actually, I point out Nightwings all the time. My girlfriend and I point them out.
I love Nightwings too.
And I count Banes.
Do you count Banes? There's a lot of Banes. I got like super freak out mode when I saw a Booster Gold.
Yeah, Booster Gold.
I was
Booster Gold's always
"Whoa,
static. I always take a picture with the Booster Gold.
I got like freaked out. I was like,
Oh,
get
God.
over here.
I tried to convince my girlfriend for Halloween this year to allow me to be Robin with the booty shorts.
Do it.
But no, I think.
Wait, are you gonna wax though?
That's a
You're gonna
really
have
good
to,
question. Well,
'cause
we're
he's
not
got, like,
actually
he's
going
got,
for.
like, legs like clamshells.
Yeah, he does. We're not actually going for Batman and Robin. I always try to do something weird for Halloween. Last year we were I was Jesus and she was Judas. So we try to do like couples costumes that aren't couples. I want to do her as Emma Frost and myself as Jean Grey, because I love Jean Grey and I love Dark Phoenix. So I kind of want to do Emma and Jean. She's a little skeptical about me wearing the Jean Grey costume, but I'm trying to convince her. But we can move past the cosplay conversation. But hey, PAX is this weekend, so if you have a cool cosplay, you should if you have one of the ones we talked to at the very least, you should go ahead and tweet us about it. That would be cool. I like
Obviously,
cosplay.
don't approach me at the convention because apparently I'm a creep.
Apparently,
So,
unless if you're wearing a Squirrel Girl costume though, apparently go up and say
It's
hi
not
to
like I have a
Bronze.
Squirrel Girl fetish. I just noticed
You
that
just
maybe
noticed
that's why I don't see her as a little girl anymore.
All right. This next piece of news is just ridiculous. I wish Zach weren't busy because he'd have more to say about this than we do. Because have you read Youngblood?
Yes.
You have read Youngblood.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have not read Youngblood. For those of you who don't
I
know,
don't
that
have the
was
strongest feeling.
that was
I don't
Rob
have strong
Liefeld's
feelings about
creator-owned
Perspectives.
project when they started Image. So it is coming back apparently, which it's 8 years ago they tried this, and it's come back a few times. But apparently Rob Liefeld is going to be writing Youngblood again with Jim Toe as the artist. So you can see here we have a little bit of the preview of the art. There's a big rock dude. Do you know these guys' names?
Not anymore.
No, okay, so we got Big Rock M Guy right here.
That was a long time ago.
Maybe I don't know, Magma Rock. Okay, we've got Red Arrow without a sleeve. See, here's the thing about bringing back Youngblood from the old days is that I like this art style. I like that you can fix him, get rid of the Liefeldian. Like this dude's got feet, so you can tell it's definitely not Rob Liefeld drawing it. But that costume is still awful.
Yeah, it is.
That costume still looks absolutely terrible.
I maybe need to go back and read it. Because was it seriously 8 years ago?
No. The last time they tried to relaunch Youngblood was 2008. Youngblood's from the 91, 92, something like that.
I remember reading it a while back. And maybe I need to reread this because I don't feel like it aged well.
I mean, yeah, most of the founding Image comics didn't, because it was the 90s.
Image has gotten so much better.
Well, it was also all about art. Like, it was all these art hotshots at Marvel who wanted to start their company because their books were making so much money for Marvel Editorial that they started their own books. Most of them didn't have a lot of writing experience. And so we got things like Youngblood and Wildcats and all kinds of crazy stuff that was really popular. The art style from the 90s has not necessarily aged well because of all it was draw giant anatomically incorrect naked people and then just kind of draw hemlines on them. That's how the art style was. And just pouches, and it was just so ridiculous.
I remember the pouches.
Yeah, it was. I mean, comics went through a grunge phase. That's what happened. That the comics were not immune to the 90s. So anyway, that's coming back. Let's see. The last piece of art we have is here. We have Mr. Cyborg Tech Dude. This guy actually looks cool. This is a design I do like. He looks like a weird like future Quicksilver robot thing. You know, it's mostly the hair. But it reminds me of Pietro.
Say, how are you?
It's also the color. It's blue and white, you know. It's got Quicksilver's
the
colors.
yellow is just like so.
No, yeah,
it's
the
like
yellow and the red.
Quicksilver.
It's like Cyborg Quicksilver.
He looks more like Deathstroke to me.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, yeah. He does kind of have the slight thing going on.
Quicksilver. I was like, what?
Other comic book characters with white hair.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have? We don't need to talk about that because we don't even know what that is. There's a thing. There's this new thing coming out. MU. Cullen Bunn is writing something with 4 different artists. Apparently, there's news coming out tomorrow night at 6:45 p.m. As far as now, all we know is that Cullen Bunn is doing something called MU in January with Lionel Yu, Gary Frank, and some other good artists whose names escape me right now. But that's all we got for the news. That's enough. We got to talk about comics. Genova Plus, what I am holding is Kirby Crackle, and no, I do not know why. This was handed to me. Let's talk about your poll of the week now.
My poll of the week is Miss Marvel number 10.
Miss Marvel number 10. This is tied to Civil War 2. What's going on?
Okay. So, first of all, I've been really good about not choosing Miss Marvel as my pick of the week.
Why?
Well, because I don't want to be that girl. Because everybody, okay, if you guys have ever been to the show before, everybody knows I'm a huge Miss Marvel fan. And for multiple reasons. Part of it is like my family's from Punjab, and in her last comic, it was so hard for me to not pick it as pick of the week because she talked about the partition, which is like this big event that happened in India when the British basically said, this part of India is now called Pakistan, and it's an Islamic state, and if you're not Muslim, get the fuck out. And terrible things happened because people were like, but I live here. It was just like, well, you're not Muslim, so you need to go now. It was a really bloody and terrible time in India's past. In the last comic, they actually talk about how Kamala's family came to America because of the partition.
Wow.
Like, basically, like, her great-grandmother traveled while pregnant all the way from the south of India in Mumbai, which is what it's now called, all the way to Pakistan, and ultimately tried to provide her family a better life by, sending them to America, which coincidentally is what happened to my mom. So, I mean, now it's like, oh, my heart, like, I relate to Miss Marvel so much, it kind of hurts a little bit.
Next time you read a comic that tells basically the story of your family, it's okay to make that your pick of the week. That story was beautiful. And so, if I was on camera, I'd probably be crying right now.
My mom was really young when she moved here, and I mean, like, I always say, like, you'll never find a more patriotic family than an immigrant family with, like, a history like mine, because we thank America for everything that we have, because it wasn't safe where we lived. And so in this comic, it's so adorable. It starts with Miss, and I showed you the picture, Miss Marvel in kindergarten.
Oh,
and she has her little chubby Indian face, and I love her, Pakistani face, and super cute. And it's her story of how she met Bruno, who is now her best friend in the comic. And it's her having sort of a flashback to when she's in kindergarten, and she first meets Bruno, and Bruno is didn't have the greatest childhood, and it's really, really sad how, you know, his grandparents were raising him because his mother was a drug addict and she couldn't take care of him, and they didn't have enough money to pay for him to go on field trips, to participate in school activities. I mean, like, and it's sad because the truth is like, we all probably knew that kid growing up, you know? Like, we all probably went to school with one of those kids that didn't have the best childhood, and so they actually show, like, Kamala Khan's family, Miss Marvel's family, kind of took Bruno under their wing, and because they felt so bad. So you get to see all these different elements of, like, a minority family going out of their way to kind of reach out to this other unfortunate kid and help him out. So they had all these beautiful themes, like, right in the beginning. This is in the first, like, 3 pages of the comic, and here's where shit gets real. Then it flashes forward to now.
Wait, shit hasn't gotten real yet?
No.
My God, this is
Then
so
it
emotional.
Flashes forward to now, and Bruno's in the hospital, and he's in a coma, and he's definitely going to suffer permanent nerve damage, and he might not ever be able to walk again.
Oh man, what happened? Did you get like all messed up in the last issue?
Well, yeah, in the last issue. So basically, Captain Marvel has created almost like these young cadets, and Miss Marvel is the leader of them, and she's using Ulysses. You know, like, Ulysses doesn't just predict the big events, he's also predicting the smaller crime, and Captain Marvel's having Miss Marvel and this team of young cadets basically illegally apprehend young teenagers who are about to do something terrible and detain them until after the time has passed and let them go. That's fucking awful.
Yeah, Carol, man, fucking Carol.
It's pretty evil.
I can't believe
evil.
we're all on Tony's side. That's how evil she's being.
Yeah, and so basically what happens is, you know, Kamala Khan has to sit by while one of her friends from school is detained. Bruno's like, you're wrong, and I can't believe we grew up together, and I can't believe you're okay with one of our friends being detained, but he hasn't done anything wrong yet. Well, Bruno, being pretty headstrong, tries to break into the facility, and they have the door rigged with explosives. So when he tries to bypass the electronic lock, it blows up. So he suffers 3rd and 4th degree burns on half of his body, and he's in a coma. And they said he might walk again, definitely gonna have permanent nerve damage, and they don't know if he's gonna come out of the coma. And Miss Marvel is just like, everything we have done is wrong. This is wrong. Like, and she has this beautiful moment, and this is what made it my pick of the week. She says, like, up until now, it was all fun and games, and it was all make-believe, and now I know, like, it's not make-believe. It just got real. And she has that moment, because you have to remember, she's so optimistic, like, I have superpowers, I just found out I'm inhuman, I'm gonna wear a costume and fight crime. And then it takes her seeing her best friend in a coma to be like, no, it's time to grow up. Mm-hmm. And it was a great, and she's questioning what Captain Marvel is doing, which is, that's her hero. She named herself after Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel calls her Junior. And she's like, no, this is wrong. And seeing her as a teenager starting to come into her own and be confident enough and have that moral ground to say, this is wrong. This is wrong and I don't agree with it, is beautiful. For me, I needed that. After all this time, it was really nice to come to just see her really grow up and come into her own and say, no, fuck you.
And she's almost got kind of a sidekick arc, you know? Like, this is the Dick Grayson story of, like, when he has to go off and be Nightwing. Like, I can't just go by your rules, because even though you taught me everything I know and I'm so inspired by you, we still don't see eye to eye, and I sometimes do know better. You sometimes taught me better than you. And in this case, Kamala's definitely being better than Carol.
Yeah.
Because Carol's being awful.
And Carol in the comic basically says that, because Miss Marvel says, like, we need to quit, this is over, we need to disband this little core, and she's like, this is extra legal, is what she's calling it. Extra legal.
I've used that term as a joke before.
Illegal,
really?
But
extra
it's not
legal?
legal, extra legal. And she's saying this is wrong, these people need due process, they haven't committed any crimes. She's upset. And literally Carol says, well, we can't, because I need to prove a point to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And Kamala says, I get that. It's literally like my superhero parents are having a divorce. And she says those exact words. Because, I mean, Tony Stark tutors her with physics, right?
Yeah.
And Captain Marvel is her best friend. So she's like, it's basically like my parents are having a divorce. She's like, but we can't, like, she's like, as soon as it clicks that Captain Marvel is basically doing this to prove a point to Tony Stark, basically the end of the issue sort of ends with Kamala's like, I'm gonna prove that Ulysses is not foolproof. Like, I'm gonna prove that
That's cool.
that
That's a big part of what Tony is trying to do. Is prove, like, he said that in Civil War II #4. Like, what percentage of accuracy do you need to just detain these people? And Carol's just going with it. But that's a good point. This whole thing started off because Rhodey died and Jen was in a coma, and it is really personal for Carol. Too personal, right? That yeah, she tried to prove to Tony that she's right. I think there's a big part of her that is, if she's right, all of this happens, it turns out she's right about Ulysses and we should be doing this. It justifies the death.
I think she wants to make, his death
it justifies the death of James Rhodes. And other than that, it's her fault. She was the one who was like, this untested kid is why Rhodey died. And so she's trying to absolve herself and also know that if she's the one who killed Rhodey, Tony's going to have to realize soon he has her to blame for the death of his sidekick. Although he also has himself to blame because he didn't upgrade. We saw the thing with Rhodey's suit. Rhodey asked for an upgraded suit, and Tony was like, you'll be fine, right before he died. So both of them, it's personal for both of them, but Tony... I feel like a lot of this is Brian Michael Bendis trying to redeem Tony Stark after the first Civil War. Like, so much of it, so much is like, oh, I've been here before, let me talk to Steve Rogers and get my morality together and all that. Which kind of bugs me because, like, while I'm not crazy about the idea of all the A-listers being so morally corrupt that they can be supervillains in the Marvel Universe, that's kind of the main reason why I prefer the DC Universe, is that I like that when my A-listers are heroes and not villains that are acting heroically, which is basically what happened in Marvel.
I think it's good to have a mixed bag.
Oh, yeah, and I agree, but I like for my mixed bag to be, I don't know how Green Arrow's gonna act, and I know how Superman's gonna act.
Yes.
Versus like, oh, I could trust Luke Cage to be the good guy, but I can't trust Iron Man to. And that's the difference to me. Is that you have Captain America, kind of the one screamy voice of reason, surrounded by Hank Pym and Reed Richards and Tony Stark, these Machiavellian super geniuses that, like, ruin as much stuff. And don't get me started on Namor.
On Namor?
Oh, Namor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fucking Namor. Anyway, so while I'm not a big fan of that in general, I also am. I think it's really interesting to understand why people prefer the Marvel Universe because of that, and I think it's important to maintain that. Like, if you don't want that, go to the DC Universe. If you do want that, go to the Marvel Universe. That's why it's so great that they both exist. They both take the superhero genre and explore them differently. Unicorn Pudding, thank you for following. Namor is the best. You shut your mouth. Actually, I do like Namor, but I also hate Namor. Like, I like Namor because of all this ambiguity that I'm talking about. That's why I think he's a really interesting character. But he, I think, most epitomizes
if you
this
only
whole
read Black
evil...
Panther, you would think he was a bad guy still.
Yeah. Also, Namor
he has
being...
a history.
He
Especially
Atlantis and Wakanda do not get along, and it's always Atlantis' fault. Namor is also not the first mutant. That's just, I'm pretty certain that's Atlantean propaganda. They say that all the time, but, like, we know about En Sabah Nur. There's a lot of flashbacks. We've gone past Namor. But I just like making the joke about that being Atlantean propaganda. So Mr. Marvel 10, your poll of the week. My poll of the week is kind of a cheat because it is the 5th Wednesday of the month, which means there's a lot of annuals, there's a lot of books that aren't super exciting. JLA 9 finally came out, but I thought because of that, I had enough time to read Teen Titans Earth 1, which came out within the last month. And the Earth 1 books are all graphic novel size. They don't come out in single issues, so they're not, can't talk about the same way we talk about other books. And we're going to figure out a way to talk about graphic novels like this, because there are a lot of original graphic novels that come out that we have to take longer to read, and they deserve to be talked about too. So this is what I'm doing now. Teen Titans Earth 1 Volume 2 by Jeff Lemire. And I've been waiting for this a long time. I love the Earth 1 books. They're all... If you like the whole kind of ultimate universe idea of rebuilding a traditional superhero universe from the ground up, Earth 1 does that, but with one superhero at a time. So Superman Earth 1 acts as if Superman is the only hero on that Earth. Batman is the only hero there. Wonder Woman is the same, and Teen Titans, there's just these kids with powers, but there's no Superman or Wonder Woman to look up to. So none of them are sidekicks. So, like, instead of Kid Flash, Wally goes by Impulse in this book. In the first volume, we met Cyborg, Terra, Beast Boy, Tempest, Raven, and Starfire. And in this book, we are introduced to Wally West Impulse, Cassie Sandsmark, the Wonder Girl, and Cole, who is like this Z-lister from like the 80s Titans that showed up and died within a year. I did not expect Cole to show up, but she has like ice rock powers, and it's kind of an ice version of Terra. It's a great continuation of the first book. I wish it was still being drawn by the Dodsons. This one is drawn by Andy McDonald, who does well, but Terry Mitchell Dodson just made the style so clear in the first book that it's not quite as good. But we get Niles Calder, who is like kind of Robot Man. We get some Doom Patrol stuff. We get Slade Wilson and his son talking to each other, which is to me when Slade Wilson is the most interesting, is when he's talking to his kids. I really enjoyed this book. It wasn't quite as groundbreaking as the first one, and it's clear that Jeff Lemire is writing this knowing this is his last DC project. He signed an exclusivity project with Marvel about a year ago, but part of that contract was he would finish up Teen Titans Earth 1, or at least Volume 2 of Earth 1. I don't think when he started this project he was planning on ending it after 2 books. So this ending was very just like they were all together and they were like, oh, it'll be okay, Raven sees this future and it looks happy, and oh, here we go. So, like, if you read the first book and you were really excited because at the end there's this cave with a bunch of symbols, kind of implying here that the Titans that are going to show up, and you were excited because there was a bat on that symbol and you really wanted to see Jeff Lemire write Dick Grayson without a Batman, you're never going to get that, which is what I was so excited about. But it was really good. I'm really excited to have Earth 1 back. I love the Earth 1 books. I think Superman Earth 1 is what Man of Steel should have been. And I reject the idea that Batman Earth 1 hates Batman. That book is polarizing. But yeah, Teen Titans Earth 1, I really enjoyed it. I also absolutely love the Teen Titans.
I'm gonna have to check out this Earth 1 stuff.
Yeah,
I haven't
books,
read a single one.
They're good. They're also really easy to read. Like I said, if you like, they all list or exist so well in their own universe,
which is nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think this is a little bit of a tangent, but I think that's what Image is doing so well, is because it's so easy to recommend to people. We were actually talking about this on my channel last night. I was streaming and someone was like, you always talk about comic books, and I've always wanted to get into them, but it's so intimidating. Yeah. And, Domestic Dan was saying that too, like, oh, it's just they reference. Like, there'll be this big conversation between two characters, and yeah, the story's self-contained, but they have like a rich and storied past, and you're not getting all the references, and you don't understand why maybe this conversation is as big of a deal as it is.
Which, granted, we call that's also kind of the point. Like, that's what I love about the wide universe, is that, like, you have to work a little harder to get into it, but what you get out of it is a storytelling technique and world that cannot exist anywhere else. Like, the only thing that I think kind of comes close to the way comic books work is Star Trek and Doctor Who. Because they've lasted so long, they've been written by different people, and they've sort of done that thing. But I agree. Image Comics, though, it's easy to just hand somebody a title. Image it's not unique to Image.
Like doorways.
Boom Studios does this too. A lot of IDW books, like, of course, they have the big Transformers franchise you can't just jump into. But you can just read Micronauts. You don't need to know anything. Check out Cullen Bunn's Micronauts. That's cool. Basically, everybody that's not Marvel, Image, or Valiant, their books are almost always standalone. Image, for a while, actually did have a little expanded universe. Just in the Invincible comics. There was the Invincible universe with, like, Brit and the Astounding Wolfman. But that was in, like, the mid-2000s when they were kind of between their two eras of Image comics.
All my, original comics to start with were Vertigo.
Yeah, and that's another one. Vertigo was them being like, Karen Berger being like, hey, these books are, like, so special. They should be allowed to move and be bigger. Like, I know that Sandman, like, it's cool in the beginning that, like, you can see Batman and Martian Manhunter and they show up. That's cool. But there's a point at which the way the DC universe works, the pantheon of gods that develops in Sandman couldn't really coexist with the pantheon of gods that already exist in the DC universe with the things Jack Kirby created. And we don't want to eliminate Jack Kirby's genius, like the Kirby Crackle, but we also want to allow Neil Gaiman's genius to come through and allow him to create what he's going to create.
I almost loved seeing. That was actually my favorite part of Sandman. Was
the world building, you mean?
Well, yeah, and Morpheus. Like, I remember Volume 1, he comes across. Martian Manhunter is like taking him to, like, the JLA vault because he's, like, looking for something. I know he's still collecting his relics. It's been a while since I've read it, but he's like collecting his relics, the bag of sand and the mask and all that stuff. And he's going there to see, and then they find out that guy took the one of the stones or whatever, and then they have the creepy diner scene, which is the first true horror I read in a graphic novel. But it was really interesting, like how you would think Morpheus might go to the JLA for help, and then you realize how he kind of treats them like children.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the endless, and they
And
like to him they're kids. The Dream Ruby.
Yeah.
Thank you, Snowman.
Yeah,
I knew it was like the stone. I called it a stone.
Special.
The Dream Ruby. But yeah, I love. You can't have them coexist because to Morpheus and the Endless, the superheroes are so trivial.
like
and that kind
Morpheus
of
shouldn't be
ruins it.
going to Martian Manhunter for help. He should be going to Metron of the New Gods. You know, like he should be dealing with Darkseid and New Genesis because that's the scope. Like there should be issues with gods arguing over their domain, not like, hey, look at this Batman. We should hang out with Batman. You know, I mean, I understand Batman helps sell comics. That's why he's in all of them. But yeah, I agree that like it can't coexist. There's actually a Grant Morrison JLA story where it all kind of takes place. They have to go into the dream of this young boy that like is kind of bringing Starro back, but it's not. It's very weird, very Morrisonian. Actually, it might be Mark Waid filling in for Grant Morrison. Because I love when writers fill in for Grant Morrison and they try to tap into their inner Morrison, because Mark Waid and Mark Miller have both done that really well on JLA and The Flash, respectively. But in this JLA issue, Morpheus kind of shows up, and like they're kind of just like, hey, we're in this dream thing, and he's like, oh, let me, like, he just knows so much, and he's so powerful there that he's like, oh, let me help you out, let me just be this guy. And it's like, oh, if he were on the Justice League, they would solve all their problems real fast. You know, real differently.
He fought Lucifer in hell.
Yeah. There's all kinds of
I mean,
big
he
things.
helped bid off hell in the auction of hell.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, this is a tangent, but have you heard of the webcomic JL8?
No.
It's a webcomic by Yale Stewart, JL and the number 8, and it's the Justice League as 8-year-olds. So the Justice League are all
Is it
going
kind of like
to
Scotty Young's the Baby Avengers?
Yes, kind of, and it's
I actually
just
did enjoy that.
yeah.
I read JLA.
QQ's coming in.
And I haven't
Q's
caught up,
and she reads JLA.
but I absolutely love it. It is hilarious. It's adorable, and you're just like, I've teared up. I also read JLA. Get over here!
Go on in.
Like, there's some times where I'm just like cracking up, and then other times like, you guys are so stupid.
Oh my god,
And
it's adorable.
It is super
and I've
adorable.
cried a little bit at it. Wonder Woman is my favorite in it because
She's so great.
so like. She's Wonder Woman, but as like a little 8-year-old.
Imagine
She's so
all
spunky.
of the Justice League's
Who do they fight?
strongest.
They don't
They don't really
It's
fight.
not that
It's just
kind of
kind of like
comic.
kid stuff.
Yeah,
One of
it's
the
just
most
like
recent ones they dealt with bullies.
Yeah.
And it was really adorable with Superman and Wonder Woman.
Batman went on a date with Power Girl.
yeah.
Because he has horses and she loves horses, so she agrees to go on a date with him because he has horses on his giant ranch.
But it's like, it gets right to the heart of why the Justice League works, and it's because each character has their own, like, strong values that when you distill it into an 8-year-old, it's so cute.
Howl is part of basically Boy Scouts, but
yeah,
it's
the
like
Green
the
Lantern Corps, the
Lanterns.
Boy Scouts.
And they go on a camping trip, and Barry
Sinestro's
and
a little
Martian
douchebag.
Manhunter come with them.
Really?
Yeah.
What's
And they
PS238,
find-
dearest Nye? That sounds really awesome.
They find a monster in the woods and it turns out to be Kilowog.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
so
so
good.
cute. The best moment though is there's one.
I kind of want to see 8-year-old
There's-
Kilowog. Is he 8?
No, he's like the Bigfoot in the woods who just big ol' Kilowog.
I got excited.
There's an issue where like Batman kind of screws up and like he goes home and he pulls out a little stuffed Robin and sits on his bed and goes, "I really messed up today, Robin." And that's his Robin, is this little stuffed animal that he plays with.
it's so sweet
so
and
yeah.
so like heartfelt and just like everything that you love about the Justice League in little 8-year-olds.
For years now, I've been trying to go to conventions that Yale's at, but he's never at the ones I
never
go
comes to Triple C.
I know.
But
We
yeah,
should
he's,
just all email him and just like.
we should all email to. I think he lives in the Midwest because he goes to a lot of the
I
Midwest
think
Comic
it's
Cons.
St. Louis area because
Yeah.
he goes to Heroes Con and Charlotte, which is not that far from
Yeah,
there, and like he's mostly like at that journal area.
yeah.
Cool.
So,
Yeah,
so
well,
thank you guys for coming in and talking about
I don't know
JLA.
about how awesome JLA is.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
You do. It's
I
great.
mean, Now it's like, well,
So where I was going with that?
you mentioned it, and like women came gushing into the room.
Yeah.
So clearly, it's amazing.
Apparently, it's amazing. Oh, Paladin Hulk, thank you for the 100 cheer. Yeah, you guys
I'm
should.
not gonna make a comment about cheer being
How could
inside of my
the
soul.
cheer being in you?
In my body.
Okay, the cheer can be in both of us today then. See, somebody had to make it weird. But no, there is an issue though where Batman is looking for like a gift, or I think Superman's looking for a gift, and he goes to a comic book store, and Neil Gaiman works there. And Neil Gaiman kind of takes him like through a little dreamscape and tells him to write a story and kind of inspires Superman to write. So Neil Gaiman has a cameo in this
That's awesome.
comic. So that's where I was going with the whole Sandman cameos. That was a fun tangent. JL8 is so cute, guys. It's the 5th Wednesday of the month, so we're kind of spinning off on purpose. We didn't read that many books. Also, to be honest, I've been moving for the last week, so like I have not had time to read and catch up
You've
on
been a
things. So I'm
busy
behind
guy.
on things. I have been
And
very
honestly,
busy.
like this
And we
week,
have
it's
PAX.
just been kind of.
But okay, so now we can actually get to the sub list. This show, as always, and for the past hour and 15 minutes, not just the end of it, is brought to you by Alter Ego Collectibles here in Crossroads in Redmond, Washington. They have this cool website where we can see what books at their shop are being subscribed to the most. Number one, as always, this week is a Star Wars comic, and this time it's Star Wars Han Solo #3. You're loving this series, right?
I do, yeah. I love Han Solo. I actually, it's weird. Like some of the Star Wars comics I like more and less than others. And we were talking about Darth Vader had a rocky start. Han Solo kind of had me hooked right from the beginning. And this one's interesting because I feel like they're hinting towards bigger things. And then I was reading that apparently they're going to conclude this in 5 issues. And I don't know how they're going to give us all the answers in 2 more issues. So there's 2 things that were kind of big in this one. One of the cool things was there's another racer in it, because I don't know if you know that. Have you been keeping up with Han Solo at all?
I haven't. So bring
They've
me up to
basically
speed.
been taking part of this crazy intergalactic race, and it's taking place.
It's a good thing he has the fastest ship in the galaxy.
He might not.
How dare they? They're telling me there's a ship faster than Millennium Falcon?
Huh?
Because they're telling me there's a ship faster than Millennium Falcon?
Well, I won't say there's one faster,
I'm intrigued.
but this obstacle course is like crazy. So it's like the world's most dangerous race, but it's also like the galaxy's, or not the world, the galaxy's also most like famous race. Cool. And so the whole plot of the story is Han Solo has been sort of enlisted by Princess Leia to meet up with an informant on a planet during the course of this race to get like secret information for the rebels. And she wanted to borrow his ship, but of course Han is like, no, hell no. But there's basically might be a mole inside the rebels. That's the overarching plot. And then basically what happened in this issue is there is another racer that they kind of show at the beginning, and she has these weird balls of light around her.
Is she in a ship, or is it just her and
It's
like,
her.
So she just kind of flies with these weird things
Well, she
around her?
doesn't fly, but she has like these weird sort of lights. They're like balls of light.
Cool.
And one of the officials or sort of staff members of this race basically says that she isn't allowed to have those, and she says something about how they're like her companions and like they're living creatures, and she can't just get rid of them or dispel them or whatever. And Hansel actually kind of like stands up for her, and he's like, "Come on, man, it's just lights, leave it alone." And later on in the story, this actually ends up helping him out because he's trying to sort of evade these cameras so he can meet up with the informant. And one of the balls of light shows up out of nowhere and like destroys the cameras. And some people are saying on the internet that they're similar to like some force balls or that Yoda had, and that these
Yoda
might
has
be
force balls?
Well, they said like, I don't know what they were referencing, but they're saying like in one of the Star Wars comics, like Yoda is surrounded by like these little sort of specks of the Force.
Cool.
There's no other way to describe it. It's literally like a glowing ball. And so people are
So
wondering.
they're suggesting they're actually balls of, like, it's just literally the Force.
Yeah,
That's... Wow, okay.
it's weird.
There are huge implications
Yeah.
of, like, actual tangible Force, Yoda Force balls.
Has great big balls of force. I don't. So I actually, yeah, I googled it because I was a little confused about what, like, because there was so much focus on the balls.
It sounds like they're
just
gonna
said
go
that.
Yeah.
But the fact
So
that the
good thing we got
comic
hyper RPG
opened,
quotes.
because the fact that the comic opened with Han trying to defend this lady because they were trying to tell her she was going to get disqualified because of these weird balls, and then seeing the ball make an appearance later on, or one of the balls make an appearance later on in the comic and save his butt, basically. I was a little confused because I was like, okay, why do they keep bringing the balls up? Like, why is this like the crux of this comic? This has to do with these little balls. And then there was like a cat alien.
Okay. So,
Like
Han Solo number 3, we got balls and cats.
There
What
was
we're getting out of
like
this.
there was like a weird like cat tiger alien, and that was the informant that they were trying to meet up with.
That
Like,
was their,
from the dialogue, he's clearly had a history with Chewie and with Han Solo, so he's like a more pivotal character than I thought. And I guess I'm excited for the next one because I don't really know where they're going with this. Like, what do the balls mean? And
Han Solo number 4, what do the balls mean?
and why is there a cat alien? Like, it literally looks
Yeah.
like a cat with like a human body.
Well, it definitely sounds like you're halfway through
Was
the
this
story.
a comic
Yeah.
or a dream?
There's
Times I wonder.
there are
Han Solo was like really straightforward and simple until this comic.
There
And
are
now it's,
so
like,
many
fucking
comics you could
weird.
ask that question about. Was this a comic or,
Or a dream.
some weird, crazy fever dream?
Or a
That's why
dream.
comics are great, though. Is
The
that
end of the House of M reboot with the slicing them up and
Yeah.
flinging them and creating alternate galaxies. I was like, is this a comic or a dream?
yeah? You also kind of described the end of Secret Wars too, where they just create different realities and just.
Oh,
slice
that's what
something
I
up.
meant. I meant
okay.
Secret Wars. Why did I say House of M?
Yeah, House of M was just putting it back, but with
Yeah, no, Secret Wars
memories
is when
being different.
the new Secret Wars reboot is.
Yeah, where
slicing
Franklin
up-
Richards took Molecule Man and
Yeah.
turned it into the multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I was a dream at the end. They're literally just flinging multiverses out.
Yeah, they're like, oh, and what that suggests is that Reed Richards and Franklin are just basically playing God over and over, like, oh, wouldn't this be fun? Oh, wouldn't
He's
this
like,
be fun?
you,
Oh, wouldn't
you
this
dream
be
up
fun?
the world. And he's like, dream. Yeah, well, let's not get into the weird Secret Wars reboot.
Yeah.
But that felt like
It's-
a dream at the end. So
it's
should I
weird.
be reading Han Solo? I like it.
It sounds like it should be. It sounds like I might be.
I
I might
like
be
it.
picking up this book
I like it.
because it sounds very interesting. Marjorie Liu is the one writing it. She writes Monstrous, which is
I like Monsters. I just got into
Element.
Monstrous.
she's
you know,
all over the place these days.
we
She's
actually
doing well.
reported on this a couple weeks ago, but this comic is so good that what? Yeah,
Ooh.
I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Yenny Yaye. So I'm gonna try to say Yenny Yaye. Thank you for the follow. Welcome.
Thank you. George Lucas is actually trying to collect the original prints, like each individual page.
Oh.
Like, you know, like the original artist pages?
Yeah,
He's trying
yeah,
to collect
the
all
actual
of them
pages.
for Han Solo.
Wow.
And only Han Solo.
He wants to learn how to write.
Snap!
Oh yeah, I'm throwing.
Burn!
Some
Did you
shade.
feel that one, Lucas? Did
Yeah.
you feel that one in your great big mansion with your fireplace that's powered with money?
Oh man.
Burning money? That was... I'm very good with
I don't
words.
actually hate George Lucas. I think he's really good at writing kids movies. Like, and
Yes.
he'll admit that's what he does. That's what those are, and they are great kids movies.
Mm-hmm.
As far as kids movies go, the Star Wars franchise is absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't make a
I always
slapstick
admit
character
this
the
and people
entire
get mad.
plot.
I didn't realize
Okay.
the prequels were bad until I grew up.
Yeah.
Because they came
No.
out when I was pretty young.
Yeah, me too. I don't know how old was I when Phantom came out. I don't remember exactly, but I was too young to know that.
And it's bad.
That it was bad. Yeah, like I thought Jar Jar Binks was funny because I was a kid.
Yeah.
That thing was for me.
Well, and then I loved N64 and they had the Pod Racer game.
Oh my god, that Pod
And
Racer game.
I was like, I was like really
I
into
think it
Pod
could all
Racer.
boil down. First of all, that the music. They made some new music for Phantom Menace that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say the Star Wars movies are kids movies. George Lucas himself will say that, especially the prequels. He was making kids movies. That's what he was trying to do.
He's trying to sell toys.
Yeah. But yeah, the pod race, I mean, really, Phantom Menace, we can say all kinds of reasons about why it's bad, and sure, midichlorians took away the magic of the Force. But pod racers, man. Like, no matter what I learn about that movie being bad, I will never stop loving the damn pod racer scene, because pod racing!
And to everybody who's like, it's bad, if I were to give you a real life, actual functioning pod racer, you would take it.
I would.
So
I
don't
would take
lie
it,
to
and
me.
I would absolutely immediately kill myself with it. I know that is exactly what would happen if I ever got a pod racer. It would not go well.
It's like a really, really dangerous motorcycle.
Yeah. It's like the most. I mean, even like the way like it controls. I feel like I would be like, oh god, I couldn't do
They're
it.
super awesome though. That's why they suck. Well, we're not saying. That's what I'm saying. We're not saying that they're good. We're just saying that they're geared towards children. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of the when they came out, I was too young to realize that. A lot of people were. That's why they were kind of popular. I mean, with that year, everybody dressed up as I dressed up as Queen Amidala that year, and everybody else dressed up as their characters from.
Yeah, everybody's. I mean, like, let's not pretend that like people weren't excited about Star Wars again.
But I'm happy now they're starting to be able to appeal to both.
Yeah, and I think that's like that. That was what the difference was, that the original trilogy appealed to both. And it was also helpful that they were kind of collaboration projects. There were a lot of really talented people on there. And then George Lucas was like, I'm making my kids franchise with the prequels, and it was all him.
So,
What's going on,
a
Ryan?
movie with like a 30-minute like political Senate scene is for children?
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay, when I was a kid, I didn't understand that there was political trade stuff, but I was like, these guys are good guys, these guys are bad guys, and I understood the Emperor being a dick to the Trade Federation guys. I thought the name Trade Federation was really weird for what I could tell was about to be the Empire, but I understood, like, these guys were cronies, this guy's in charge, and we're putting robots on this world to take over a queen. Like,
Okay.
the coup was really understandable.
So it's like robots, aliens, old people bad,
Yeah,
everyone else good.
the blockade.
Okay.
Old people bad.
The blockade, that went over my head as a kid, but the idea of a coup did not. And that's the part that's like okay for kids.
All right, I can appreciate that. Also, I can't believe you've been holding this the whole time.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make a crude joke.
I don't even get it.
This is going back to that squirrel girl
What's popping?
conversation.
Like a booty pop? Did I misinterpret that?
Is it supposed to be like a swing thing? Is that the joke they're making? I don't know. All right, let's see. Let's get to some books we read, which there's not
To
going to be
get
many.
back to the point, what I will say though is what I appreciate about the Star Wars a lot of people have asked me about these comics because I talk about them a little bit on the show.
And you're reading like
I'm reading,
almost
like,
all
I'm
of
reading
them.
all of them.
Yeah.
I'm reading Poe Dameron, I'm reading the base Star Wars Poe Dameron, and I'm reading. I was reading Londo, but it ended. Han Solo and Darth Vader. I'm reading all of them. But what I will say is that for those of you, this is where I was going with it. For those of you that like the adult Star Wars, like what we're hopefully gonna get with Rogue One, the comics are up your alley. They actually tackle a lot of dark things. They get pretty murderous and monstrous at places. If you like a darker Star Wars, bear with the first sort of arc of Darth Vader. You will fucking love the second part of it. It's amazing. And Han Solo has that too. Han Solo's a little bit gritty and awesome. It has questions of him being... It's sort of... what I love about Han Solo is they actually talk about his morality being a hamstring. Because after
like
the
that.
events of the original trilogy, he even says it like he can't operate the way he used to, and that kind of weakens Han Solo as a character because he's not a total freaking fuckwad anymore.
And that's
because you can't
absolutely
admit in the original trilogy he's a douchebag.
And he absolutely, but every time he's in danger, it's because he turned around to help somebody.
yes.
Like
Yes.
he tries to save his own ass several times, then turns around and does it, and that that begins that sort of hamstring where like he could be the smuggler he was, but he's learned to care over that trilogy.
And so the very first issue of Han Solo #1, talks about that. He's turning down smuggling jobs that are too dangerous because he feels to a certain extent he can't make those hard decisions anymore. Maybe the Han Solo of the original trilogy shot first, maybe this one wouldn't have. And the way they're writing that is great. Honestly, it's really good.
This one's got to stay alive, or it's got to be believable. This one also stays alive long enough to have a kid and can be in a sequel. Because I will say, at the end of Star Wars, the original trilogy, it's, I think, reasonable to believe that what happens next is Han Solo dies within 10 years because of his lifestyle. You know? I kind of, in my head, I always thought it would have made sense for basically Leia to leave him because she's too busy, and him to basically just spiral to a point where he burns out rather than fading away. Yeah, but now we gotta put in that plot armor so that he can last long enough to have a super
in its defense, it actually handles that really well because the Han Solo we met in like The Force Awakens is a different person. He's he's willing to take Rey under his wing. And part of you is like, he's like trying to bring her onto the ship as his co-pilot. Part of you is like, Han Solo in the original trilogy never would have grabbed some girl off of some, podunk planet and been like, oh, come join my crew.
Right. Han Solo in the original trilogy is watching Luke Skywalker blindfolded block things and be like, Force doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, even after he's seen the Force, he denies it. And yeah, he's absolutely a different man in The Force Awakens.
And he has motivations for everything he does in the original trilogy. And so this actually gaps it, and it gaps it pretty well. And I like that they treat his changed persona after the original trilogy as a weakness. It actually makes the writing more interesting.
That's really cool. Yeah, and I like the idea that we know as an audience morality is good, but in character, in story, conflict is good. Conflict is where it comes from, and so morality being it's the kind of thing that most writers I think are afraid to say. Oh, this person has learned not to be a bad guy, and that's a bad thing for him. But that's a really interesting way to go on the Han Solo dynamic. So that's cool. All right, let's see these other books. Let's see. We talked about Saga, You're Behind on, My Little Pony, apparently very popular at the store. Amazing Spider-Man, leading up to Dead No More, Spider-Gwen. Have you read any of these? I didn't read any of these. Bombshell's annual came out. I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, we've got it here.
I should read that. I'm kind of behind on Bombshells, but the annuals are usually pretty okay. The last kind of one-shot story they did was all about the Batgirls, and so I wouldn't be surprised if this one is bringing back Batgirl. Let's see, is there anything that you read?
Well, you know what else I read that I kind of want to talk about? Where is it? Future Quest?
Future Quest number 4.
Future Quest number 4.
Which is apparently not on this list.
Aww.
Because somebody, I'm sorry, I forgot who it was because it's left the screen, but somebody in chat mentioned that they didn't see it there, and they were excited about it. So, here it is. It is on the list.
Oh, it's a different cover than the one we've got here. This one's almost more attractive.
We got a variant cover.
Yeah, this is prettier.
So, Future Quest number 4 by Doc and Jeff.
This comic gets confusing in places, but it is probably one of the more enjoyable comics I've been following this year. It's so classic 90s that it's like
awesome.
That it's so. One of my criticisms of Future Quest, and I'm sorry if you're a really big fan of it, is we're 4 issues in and they're still trying to bring in all the characters. I
was actually about to ask that. We talked about the first issue when it came out, and at the point there was just.
Don't get me wrong, it's super fun. But
so what's the cast now? Who's in the book at this point?
So there's some characters I'm not 100% familiar with because I don't think I watched all the Hanna-Barbera shows. I only watched most of them. We just got introduced to Jan, who is like this girl who landed in a spaceship and she has a pet monkey.
Okay.
Do you know what they're from?
I don't. I feel that I didn't watch a whole lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I'm mostly just familiar with the Flintstones.
Chat, help me out. Was she in Space Ghost? What was she in?
Sure, they'll know. So who else is in it while we're waiting for the answers?
They added Mytor. Is his name Mytor? I think his name. Let me just double check. Because Space Ghost. Okay, so she is in Space Ghost. I thought she's one of the side characters in Space Ghost. Mytor. They added Mytor. I'm not familiar with the character. I'm sorry. I don't know a lot about Mytor.
Awesome.
He does look awesome. And he's like a caveman who I guess has stolen some power from like a Force Cosmic. He's pretty cool. Blip the Monkey. I love Blip the Monkey. And he has just encountered the sort of energy that Brit makes to the timelines cross. So he hasn't entered the comic yet, but he's made an appearance, so we know he's coming. And Hawkman or Birdman. Wait, it's Birdman.
It's Birdman, yeah.
Birdman is in there. And then, of course, we have Johnny Quest. So it's still bringing the cast together.
Okay. So it seems like then this first arc is kind of establishing the team if
But
you
it's
will.
taking a
Still
long
building
time
the
to do it.
crossover.
Yeah, and then the super evil, the evil Asian guy whose name I can never remember. He has Jace captured.
Ooh.
So Jan, one of the characters from Space Ghost, has a twin named Jace.
Jan and Jace.
And he's been captured by Dr. Zin. I like how I call him.
Dr. Zin.
I get all their. I'm gonna be full disclosure. I'm a huge Venture Brothers fan, and now I can't keep them straight.
Uh-oh.
Because have you watched Venture Brothers?
I don't watch Venture Brothers.
Venture
I know I'm
Brothers
supposed
parodies the crap out of Future Quest and all of these old, like, and in it, it's
So
the
you
future.
can't keep your Future Quest and your Future Quest parody separate?
For the longest time, I actually called. I started to confuse like Doctor Strange and Doctor Orpheus
Really?
because they're so similar to me. In my
Yeah,
life.
I mean, I guess that kind of makes
I'm a
sense.
huge fan of Venture Brothers. So yeah, it's Dr. Zin from Johnny Quest, but he has one of them captured. The story's fun as long as you don't think too hard about it, because they are still definitely establishing. So don't count that too much against it, but yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. It's good, but I'm still waiting for something to really happen.
All right, now I want to ask you about this comic because you're reading it. You were reading it before the show.
Yes.
And the reason why is because this is written by John Layman, who writes Chew, and Chew was one of my favorite comics ever. That book is so good. If you're not reading Chew, by the way, read Chew. That book is amazing. I'm not even good. I'm just going to say do it. You'll thank me later, and I'm confident about that. But what we have here is Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens.
Yes, and I've read Predator versus Judge Dredd as well,
Okay, is that
which is different.
okay? This is a different thing, so it's not like it built up.
Yeah, so this one actually references things that happened in Predator versus Judge Dredd, though.
Okay, cool.
So I actually didn't know that aliens were gonna be in this run. This comic is actually pretty awesome, but here's the one criticism I have of it. It is very heavy on the Dredd, and if you're a Dredd fan, you'll be happy for that. But I don't hate Judge Dredd, but he's not my favorite. I'm more of a Predators and Aliens fan, and this comic super heavy on the Dredd. But it's really cool. The premise is that there's a bunch of predators, and one of them has been sort of captured by this evil scientist. And there's these 4 other predators that are trying to sort of liberate their comrade.
Cool.
And through a strange sort of random happenstance, Judge Dredd is chasing down this person called Emoji. Emoji, who reminds me a lot of the Trollisha. And he makes like a lot of like, references, and at one point when Dredd like sort of captures him, he goes like wrecked QQ, and like, so he's very much like, yeah, he's basically the Trollisha. And so he's tracking down or trying to take out this guy named Emoji, and the process gets captured by the same mad scientist who's holding the Predator hostage or whatever in a tank, basically, and he's gonna do experiments on him because he's a mad scientist.
Okay.
So he captures Dredd and the other judges, and towards the middle of the comic, we start realizing that he's been excavating these ruins or this morass, and he's been doing like gene splicing and kind of like experimenting as evil scientists do. And he found the skull, or he says it fell from the sky. He found the skull of a xenomorph, and he's sort of recreated it or backwards engineered it.
Okay.
And so what he does is with one of the judges, he injects him with some of that DNA, so the judge starts to like freak out and become like half xenomorph, half judge.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is kind of weird.
Xenojudge?
And then with the second
Judge
one,
alien?
he takes like he says he's recreated the species because he has like a full-grown xenomorph, and so he's also recreated the facehuggers. So the second one, he impregnates with the facehugger because he's like going in a line, like getting ready to kill these
So
people.
he's just like fucking up these judges.
Yeah,
left
and
right.
then he takes the female judge, who I don't remember because she didn't really interest me, Dredd's sidekick, who I guess she's kind of psychic. He takes her and he plans to make her the new queen, and he basically says that. And then with Dredd's like, well, basically like, well, do what you're gonna do your worst. And he's like, oh, I'm just gonna leave you here. And they're all like strapped to tables, and he leaves, and he's like, enable the force field. And he leaves, unstraps or like the chains that are holding Dredd down to his medical table are like lifted, and then the comic ends with Dredd. This is gonna be interesting. Dredd in a room with a face hugger, a xenomorph, a half xenomorph, half judge.
Xeno Judge.
It's Xeno Judge. And that's it.
And he's
you're
gonna kick
like,
a bunch of ass.
You're like, how is, like, I like Judge Dredd, but I'm sorry, like, how's he gonna take out a xenomorph?
Oh, you're gonna pit him. I would imagine he pits them against each other. Right?
Maybe.
You take the Xeno Judge and the Xenomorph, you pit them against each other, and the Facehugger, he just shoots that motherfucker. He's Judge Dredd.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, the face hugger's not gonna be a problem. I don't even think. I want to see what the Xeno Judge does.
Yeah. Xeno
I don't
Judge
think I'm
sounds
allowed
cool.
to say it, but or like I don't know if that's like the official word. Oh, and while this is happening, the other predators have appeared outside. They've successfully tracked down their friend, and that was also cool too because you actually get to watch them like their process of like they're almost like you get to see their process of tracking, which is really cool.
That's cool.
Because you get to see predators do something we don't get to see them do in the movies ever, which is like be good hunters. So the four of them are
Just
trying
be
to
a
track down.
predator.
Yeah. And so we get to see the four of them basically reconstruct everything. So the comic is actually really well written because the way we're experiencing it is almost like in the past. So it's the four predators trying to track down their friend who's been captured by this mad scientist, the same one who got Judge Dredd. I kind of have disjointed, so hopefully you guys are following my explanation. So it's them trying to track down their friend, and through them, every clue, like, oh, hey, there's a bloody footstep here. Then it flashes to Judge Dredd. And like what made that bloody footstep. So it's them tracking and reconstructing, and ultimately we reach them at the lab at the same time that all these crazy experiments are going on.
Nice.
So it's actually really
Sounds like-
enjoyable.
yeah, sounds like a lot better
I
than
really
expected.
like it. I know
John
a lot
Lyman,
of
man,
people
he
are
knows
gonna
how to write.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna like roll their eyes because this just seems so like weird. But I'm a big fan of like '90s like action stuff. So for me, this
It's
is
Predator,
like amazing.
Dread, and Alien. Like, if you don't want that out of that comic, don't read that comic. It's gonna be shit like that. Alright, that's all the time we have. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Graphic Content. We're here every Wednesday from 1 till about 2:45. Make sure to watch us on Mondays at Valiant Vanquished at 6 p.m. This Monday, we're gonna have like a barbecue beforehand. It's gonna be a fun day because we have the long weekend, so it's gonna be kind of a different Monday, but we're still gonna be on, and we will have Vanquished on Monday night. So after your long weekend, you can come home, you can watch Vanquished and relax. If you see us at PAX, please come by and say hi. We like saying hi to you guys.
I love saying hi to people.
And of course, if you haven't already, please throw us a like and a follow. And if you feel so inclined, go ahead and subscribe. This is Hyper RPG. Thank you guys. Shut it down, Laura.